So please help me in welcoming Dr. Kevin Snyder. Kevin, come on down.
And in 4 straight lines, we connect all 9 dots. But we would not have achieved the goal if we didn't go outside the box. That's the point. Now catch this. When we go outside of the box, which I call the box something a little different, I call it a comfort zone. By the way, you have a comfort zone, I have a comfort zone. We have different comfort zones for different things. But when we go outside of our comfort zone and achieve number 1, that's how we achieve our objective. Number 2, guess what happens to that comfort zone? This is the power behind it. It actually gets bigger. And then it gets bigger again. And it continues to get bigger. See, one of the interesting discoveries that I've had over the years, watching a lot of great leaders, a lot of great organizations continually grow and perform, is that it's not that they're immune to feeling uncomfortable. In fact, that's when they know they're onto something. If you've ever done something for the first time, you're gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel a little weird. Expect that feeling. That's when you know you're onto something. They also call that a stretch assignment, doing something you've never done. It's a good thing. So push yourself to be uncomfortable. It's no different than skydiving, right? Any skydivers? All right, we got one over here. If you're a skydiver, stand up for me. If you've ever been skydiving, stand up. All right, we got 2. Now, I was there last night. Check this out. How unbelievable was this, right? They jumped out of a perfectly good plane. Which, by the way, those don't exist, right? So, my fellow skydivers, how did you feel? Go back to when you were jumping out of the plane for the very first time. Tell us, if you don't mind, stand up and tell us what was going through your mind when you were being forced to jump out of that plane. Yeah, he's like, I wasn't even thinking, dude. Yeah. Yep. That adrenaline kicks in. You're like, oh my God, am I really doing that? What about you, ma'am, the other person? Right. How did you feel before you went out, though? Right. Numbness, right? Well, here's my first jump. And let me explain how skydiving works. You are going to have those feelings. You know, you're strapped to somebody you don't know, getting pushed out of a perfectly good plane. And within 2 seconds, you go from the fear, probably the strangest feeling in the world, why am I doing this? Within 2 seconds, you transform into, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. And it feels, you're going down 100 miles an hour now, and it feels like somebody's underneath you with a really big hairdryer, you know, just blowing up. Then at about 5,000 feet, you're looking at your altimeter, and so is your tandem coach. They throw the parachute. Then you land, or at least we did, right? Now here's the question I want you to think about. What do you think most people want to do when they land? They want to do it again. See, friends, it's no different than when we jump out of our own comfort zone. We want to do it again. That's why I encourage all of you to go skydive at a certified location to feel the fear and what? And do it anyway. So look to somebody at your table and repeat after me. Feel the fear and do it anyway. All right. Now, it's going to be challenging at times, and it's just like success. We're going to make mistakes. It's going to be a little bit of squiggly lines at times, but where is that arrow pointing? Right? And just like in the 60s when we did get to the moon, let's just say we did, 97% of the time, we weren't on the right trajectory. We actually had to adjust. We had to adapt. And that's where those squiggly lines get important. If we're pushing ourselves, we're not going to probably make it exactly the way that we thought. But if we learn from it, that's what moves us forward. Okay? So in just a moment, I want you to think about your proudest accomplishment. Think about this just for a moment. What's something in your life that you're most proud about? What's something in your life that you're most proud about? Now, how many of you are thinking of your kids right now? Right? Yeah, before I had kids, I thought they were easy to raise. That's all coming back on me. My mom loves watching me now. But for any of you that answer that question in your mind, so this is a power question. For any of you, is your proudest accomplishment something that was easy and overnight? No or no? Of course. See, the things we care most about are also going to be the things that we have to work the hardest for. So I think us as a society right now, we're at a turning point to really look at how we have a 100% success rate getting through a pandemic and what we've learned. When we look at our success rate, we become very resilient on how we persevere through that adversity because we had a growth mindset, we thought differently, and then thirdly, we also were able to envision new possibility. And that's the third, and real quick, the third principle that I'm going to share with you on becoming a shift thinker. Now, anybody here know the story of Roger Bannister? Okay, Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute what? Right. He broke the 4-minute mile. At a time in 1954 where people told him he was cray-cray, it was humanly and physiologically impossible. Cannot be done. Now, Roger Bannister just did not wake up one day and say, oh, I'm just going to run a 4-minute mile. No, he practiced, right? He had a good pair of running shoes probably. But he also had a vision. He had a vision for what he wanted to accomplish. So Roger Bannister was a shift thinker. He envisioned the new opportunity. Whereas most people said no. Now, I'm a big acronym guy. No, I want us to shift our thinking. No actually stands for new opportunity with the right mindset and only with the right mindset. When some people tell you no, you think, I'm on the right track. Anybody ever told you you couldn't do something? Did you believe them? Right? So let me give you a couple quick other examples of this. Roger Bannister is just one. Malala Yousafzai, youngest winner of the Nobel Peace Prize because she advocated that young women in Pakistan should be having and earning the right for an education. And because she was speaking out about that, she was shot in the head and intended to be killed. She is still speaking for Pakistani women to receive the right for education. Martin Luther King, he didn't have a goal, right? What did he have? He had a dream. And a dream that likely he knew would not manifest in his lifetime. But he didn't let that dream stop him from having it. Another person, J.K. Rowling, who wrote Harry Potter, was unemployed, a struggling single mom on welfare. In the UK, they call that benefits. Yet, she credits her being at rock bottom for her success because she knew that was the only place that she could look. And then she wrote the #1 book series of all time. Well, up until 50 Shades of Grey, but that's a different program. So when you look at these folks here, my friends, I don't believe they're any different than us. I don't believe they're any different than me, than you, than other people that may not be here. They need to hear this message that we have to envision what might not exist yet. It's like leadership. It's not a noun, it's a verb. We have to become visionary. When we believe it in our mind, it becomes only a matter of time. When we believe it enough. So let me give you an example of this. I told you before when I was going through my depression, the counselor asked me a question, what song would you listen to on the radio? Or what would you do? You'd change the station. The following week in my counseling session, I had 3 a week at that time. She says, Kevin, now that you've discovered that just because you have a negative thought, you don't have to agree with it, now what I want you to do, I want you to think about something that you can look forward to every single day. So that when you hit those moments, you got something that you know is coming, that you're looking forward to. So I didn't know what that was at the time. I didn't look forward to anything. But when I got home that day, it was in the summer, my mom and I always had lunch. And my mom and I, when we were having lunch, because she wanted to make sure I was eating, we would watch The Price is Right. Now, any Price is Right fans in here again? Okay. Again, if you didn't raise your hand, check your pulse. Now, I was living in North Carolina at the time. Price is Right was all the way out in California. Didn't know how that was going to happen. My mom kind of said, okay. But that's when this journey began of me wanting to live my dream of being on The Price is Right, because it was something vicariously I could live through every single day. So, going to the grocery store, my mom would be shopping for groceries. What do you think I was doing? Yeah, I'm price checking, right? A teenager should not know the price of prune juice or Metamucil. That comes a little bit later. Repetition's the mother of skill. I got really good at knowing every retail price of every common household product. Then I go to college. I write an English paper on The Price is Right. And I kept my bags packed. I didn't think I'd make it. I applied to one school because it's the only school I thought I could get into. Dr. LaVon Adams, English 101. Our assignment was write a descriptive paper on anything that you want. Anything. What do you think I wrote it on? Price is Right. A week later, we get the grades back. She's going one by one with a folded piece of paper. It was a small class. And I was like, oh, God, don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. I open up my piece of paper. I'm reading it thinking, yeah, I'm going home. I'm flunking out. See me after class. See me after class? What? So I go see Dr. Adams after class. She holds up a copy of my paper. It says, Kevin, in all my years of teaching, this is the best paper I've ever read. But you need help. You're obsessed with this show. When Dr. Adams told me that I was really good at writing, what do you think I started to believe as well? That I was good. See, outside of my immediate family, I can't tell you any time as a teenager where anybody told me I was good at something. I expected it from my mom and my dad. So if you want to motivate somebody around you right now, identify something they're good at. You need to tell them. And then watch what happens. Anybody just get a spine tingle? I did. That's one of the best ways that we can motivate people around us is to acknowledge and recognize something that they're really good at, because we know how that feels. So I continued to watch The Price is Right every single day in college. In fact, I did that because I arranged my class schedule around the show. And I didn't know how I'd ever be on the show, and I didn't let that stop me. So I go to a leadership conference the summer before my senior year, and I meet this guy named Chris, where at this conference I didn't even want to show up at. I meet him, immediate connection, as if I'd known him for years in a past life. And we're talking in the hallway, and I say, hey, anything cool going on in your life? Like just small talk. He looks at me and goes, well, I just got back from LA. I was actually on The Price is Right. Shut the front door. What? And then he tells me he won a gazebo. Right? I'm like, all right, that's kind of weird. But then Chris tells me exactly how to get on The Price is Right, not even knowing my story. Yeah. Now, I don't have time to tell you about how to get on The Price is Right, so grab me at lunch. But I followed Chris's advice. I ordered tickets. The tickets that came back were the same date as my college graduation. So I had a choice to make. Go out to my college graduation or go be on The Price is Right. What would you do? At the thrill of my parents, I decided to skip my college graduation from UNC Wilmington, drive across the country to be on The Price is Right. I met up with Chris, 20 other fraternity brothers. They were all going to plug me. We're going to follow Chris's advice on exactly how to get selected as a contestant. We pull up to the parking lot, and this is the sign that we see. Canceled. Apparently, Bob had gotten laryngitis. Bob. I fell to the ground. I started crying. Chris let me have my time, and then he picked me up. He said, hey, they're about to escort you off property, man. And then I had to drive back home. And along that drive home is when a lot of this negativity creeped back in my mind. And that inner negative thought became inner toxic head trash. And I made a choice on that drive home to give up on my dream because it was crazy and stupid anyway. until I got back home. My mom had been waiting in the driveway. She gave me a hug. I cried. Sorry. And she whispered in my ear, "Don't stop believing." And I don't know if it was the bad Cracker Barrel but I ran to the bathroom. Then I ran upstairs to the computer and I ordered tickets for the show. I bought a plane ticket with my mom's credit card. 2 months later, Chris picks me up from the airport and we go straight to the parking lot because I'm like, I got to see the gate, you know? It was open. So the show was going on. And then we wait in line from 11:30 p.m. to 10 a.m. the next day. The studio audience, they open up, they sit us down in the first row, music starts. I could tell you what happened, or do you want to see a 1-minute clip? You want to see a video? All right, check this out.
Here it comes from the Bob Barker studio at CBS in Hollywood. Television's most exciting hour of fantastic prizes. The fabulous 60-minute Price is Right. Kevin Snyder, come on down. Now, here is the star of The Price is Right, Bob Barker.
Thank you for that wonderful welcome.
We interrupt this broadcast for a commercial to say thank you to our sponsors. I want to say thank you to Window World. We're not done yet. I got about 2 minutes left, but I'm going to show you the end of that clip if you want to see it. But I also want to say, hey, make sure you're checking out your vendors today. That's just a shameless plug. I just want to say also thank you to you for being here. This event would not be possible if it weren't for each one of you. So give yourself a round of applause. I hope some of these insights that I've shared with you today spark something in you that you can further nurture and a seed can plant so it can grow. I believe our mind is the fertile soil. Our thoughts are the seeds. We decide what grows. At the age of 22, I lived a dream. And I lived a dream because I had one. And I took some massive action. So one of my parting questions to you all, and I know that we don't know each other yet or well, but what is your Price is Right? What do you envision that maybe hasn't happened yet? I believe we're all capable of living a dream that we vision in our mind. And I know that word dream can be a little bit intimidating, right? So maybe it's just a vision. What do you vision in your store, right? With your team? What do you vision in your relationships? What do you vision for you personally down the road? And in order to do that, we have to have a growth mindset. We have to think different. It's going to be difficult. We also have to envision the no. And there is a missing piece to this. Anybody want to take a guess what it is? So far, all this is mental. Catch this. All this is mental. There's a missing piece. Right. We have to take action. If our dreams don't scare us, they're not big enough. If you know exactly how you're going to achieve a dream, it ain't big enough. If nobody's ever told you your dream's crazy, it ain't big enough. See, I believe there's two types of dreams, the ones that we have when we're sleeping and the ones we make when we're awake. What would you prefer? The second, I'm sure. So, the missing piece to all this today, and I don't know the right action steps to take. I can't suggest what I don't know exactly what you might be dealing with or what your goals are, but believe it with the end in mind, it becomes a matter of time. We will figure out how to make this work. It sounds to me like Window World wants to surround you with resources to help you achieve anything that you set your mind to. We have to take action. We have to realize that tenacity is where it matters. And action is an acronym. I'm giving you one more. Repeat after me. Action changes things.
Action changes things.
Say it one more time like you mean it. Action changes things.
Action changes things.
A vision without action is just a daydream. So look, my friends, if we want to grow, we want to get bigger, we're going to have to take some risk. We're going to have to jump outside that bowl. That's how we differentiate. It's also how we grow. And that's my message to you today. To become a shift thinker, these 4 fundamentals, I believe, will help us get there and give us the tools that we need to accomplish it. Anybody want to see what happens if the price is right? All right. Check this out.
Kevin Snyder, come on down.
Actual retail price, $16.25. Kevin, thank you. Kevin, my man, listen to what Rod has to tell you.
Kevin, you have a chance to win $10,000 in cash.
$10,000 on the punch board. My boy, you are there with $5,000. $5,000. Oh, Kevin, you are $5,000 richer. You stop. He's going to quit right now. Well done. Spend your money wisely.
I get home, this is the front page of the paper. Snyder lives dream on The Price is Right, and then it hit me that I did. You can only live a dream when you have one. And if a young, struggling boy at the age of 12 could identify something that could change his life, give him something to look forward to, shift his thinking, I believe that's something we're all capable of. So one last time, I want to ask you to think about what your Price is Right is. What's your dream? What's your vision? And more importantly, too, or just as importantly, how you can help other people that are very close to you, how you can help them with that same message. And I'm going to close this presentation just like Bob Barker does at the end of every show. Repeat it with me if you like. Help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed and neutered, everybody. Thank you so much. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.